the pressure that surrounds the age 30.
Sometimes when you've not succeeded at a certain age, it seems like you're a failure. Parents always constantly comparing you to someone else's child.
Because a lot of people do not understand what success really is.
Yes. Your peers look like they're succeeding more than you. In fact, there is a level of intelligence that people have attached to the age 30 or to the age close to 30. They make it feel like after 30, there's no learning again. Like all the learning you have to do in this life. Now before 30.
Success has no expiry date.
It is not external. Success is supposed to be internal. Success is not comparative. The success now is relative. But the pressure comes with wanting to show.
If success or being successful is personal, it's subjective, it is based on your own goals and aspirations for yourself, why so much pressure? I want kiwi for internet every
Let me
day.
say,
Hello, beautiful people. You're welcome to your favorite conversation. It is Truth Hurts Podcast, baby. And once again, we are here to dig deep into matters that concern you and that concern us. Today on the program, we have a very interesting topic. But before we get into the crux of the matter, please permit me welcome the gentleman that will be accompanying me on today's edition of our conversation. Hello, Brother Jude, in the Lord Jesus. How are you?
Hello, Faith.
Hi.
I am fine. I'm fine.
Good to know.
I mean, of course, it's a new day and we're about to discuss something really amazing. So I'm excited.
All right, me too. We also have the dearest and nicest biggie in the whole world. Hello and welcome to Truth Hurts Podcast.
hello, everybody. It's been a minute,
It has.
and always happy to be here to share, to learn, and also to make our audience go back home with something new.
Okay. Well, speaking of something new, our talking point is not very new because if you are close to 30, you are 30, you must definitely feel this particular talking point. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to be unpacking the pressure that surrounds the age 30. Why is there such pressure for people to succeed by the age of 30 or before the age of 30? And why is this a trap? Because clearly it is. Why do we have to give people an age limit to be successful? Oh, by 25, you must have a job. By 25, probably you should be married. By 28, you should have your first child. By 30, you must have built a house, bought a car, and so many expectations. Who brought these expectations upon us? What is going on? Let's just get into the conversation because a lot has to be said. First things first, where did this mindset come from, Biggie? Where do you think this mindset originated from?
At first, I would say before the presence of social media, I think the first persons who brought this pressure are parents. The pressure to see their kids become somebody.
Yeah.
Unconsciously, they push the kids to be right under pressure to succeed, which makes that sometimes when you've not succeeded at a certain age, it seems like you're a failure. Parents always constantly comparing you to someone else's child. That look at this person's child, look at what the person has done.
Exactly.
This person has already built a house. This person is married. This person has done that. So
They have traveled abroad. What
yeah,
are you
so
doing at
a
your
lot of
age?
it has pushed that some children feel like if by this age I'm not here, it's like I'm a failure. And then now modern day social media has taken over with the way people showcase lifestyle, be it true or not. Some people feel pressured by it. It's like, okay, this person is younger than me, has already accomplished this. What about me? So there's a lot of pressure that it started with parents, environment today, social media and environment.
I agree with you. Social media is crazy. Hey, Papa God. And I think that some of us women, anyway, I don't want to get to my own matter. Let me ask Jude first. You're in your 30s. Are you feeling the 30-something pressure? Do you feel that pressure?
Why do you think reducing my age is a good thing? I am old. I'm almost ancestor, far more than 30. But I mean, I wouldn't say I am personally feeling any pressure around success.
Okay.
I mean, talking about, the pressure of people having to succeed by 30, I am going to even take it back to the understanding of the word success and failure. because a lot of people do not understand what success really is.
Yes.
And the
Thank you. Break
complexity
that
of the
down.
world is also a major problem. But I'm going to, say that, not to, say much, of course, we're going to diagnose that, but I'm going to say that if people understand what true success is, then the pressure definitely would leave. But then social media and parents, just like Biggie was saying, and peer pressure and all that, makes people feel like what they have, which is already success,
It's not success.
success.
So
enough.
let's backpedal a little.
Yeah.
What is success?
To me, success is more about the satisfaction you get from living your purpose and, achieving impact, which clearly is based on your own set goals. It is not external. Success is supposed to be internal. Success is not comparative.
So where do we place wealth? Because I don't think that we can remove the material aspect of success,
No, we're not
which has to do
removing
with acquisitions,
No, we are not
houses,
removing it.
cars,
We're
and
not
all of that.
removing it. When I talk about it being personal, it means maybe my own definition as a person of success could be building a very small house,
Okay.
a house or maybe a room, a kitchen, a parlor, and a toilet, and then I can take care of my kids and send them to normal public schools, and then I live good and we eat every day. Not necessarily in an urban town, maybe in a royal town. Because people misunderstand this success. Somebody living, for instance, in Banso or in Seoul would probably be successful with 2 million. He will be a very successful person.
True.
He can
In my
probably-
big village, give me like
Exactly.
10 million now,
That's
I
the
will be
thing.
big.
But in the city with 2 million, you are probably unable to rent a house. So the issue now is about, that's why I say the success now is relative. But the pressure comes with wanting to show, wanting to make people see how successful you are, and wanting to fit into the societal definition of success. So if you're looking at it from your inner perspective, then whatever purpose that you've set for yourself, if you're pushing through it, then you're being successful.
I'm most even certain. Well, let me speak as a woman. So before now, growing up, I thought because I'm getting close to 30, you cannot. There is no way I can run away from it. I don't want to run away from it anyway, because growing old is a beautiful thing. It's great. It's great.
For sure.
But then I think that just like Biggie was saying, the thing that is giving me the most pressure, because I am sorry to say I'm not saying I'm cracking under the pressure, but I feel the pressure. And I think it is because of social media, because you cannot avoid it. Your peers look like they're succeeding more than you. The internet is sharing you the narrative of, if you've not probably you don't have this amount of money in your bank account, you're unable to purchase this type of dresses and shoes and bags. You probably don't have a ring on your finger. Yes, I don't have. You're failing before 30. They make you feel like if by 30 you don't have the perfect job. In fact, there is a level of intelligence that people have attached to the age 30 or to the age close to 30. They make it feel like after 30 there's no learning again. Like all the learning you have to do in this life now before 30. It's then like say if you reach 30 now, after 30 you're not supposed to go school. You're not supposed to start some new thing from scratch. It's then like someone don't say, oh, between 0 and 30 years, everything that you can learn as a human being must fit into this age. And it is so sad, because at the end of the day, like it or not, a human being, no more human being is an island. Yeah. You always have to compare yourself to another person. You start hearing people suffering from mental illnesses, depression here and there, anxiety here and there, breakdowns here and there, and you're wondering, check them. You will see that this pressure thing is part of it. But let me not get ahead of myself, because we are practically just unboxing the topic. Yeah. Biggie, before you got to 30, did you feel pressure to attain a certain level of success?
It happens to everybody.
Okay.
It happens to everybody. The first thing I will say is success has no expiry date. It took me time to actually get that. There's this famous story of the man who has KFC franchise, Colonel Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
So the franchise took up, and his riches he was in his 60s. You realize that. But what I was saying is, it happens to the best of us. When we're young, we wonder by 30, we are hoping to be married, have this kind of accomplishment. It happens to the best of us. But like I said, there's a nuance in the whole thing. I agree with Jude when he says it's personal.
Success is
yes, it's a very subjective term. But then again, there's a mixture, because when you listen to a lot of one of the things that has killed people's vibe is motivational speakers. I keep saying
I started my company with 5
motivational
francs. Now I
speakers
have
have pushed a lot
50
of
million.
persons to actually feel like they feel like they set a blueprint. Oh, every story is a different story. But sometimes the way they speak, it seems like it's a blueprint. If you're not following that blueprint, it's like you failed already.
Yeah.
And that's why it's pushed a lot of people to feel like, okay, this man says, this man says. And when you're not doing it, it feels like, I always tell people that, no, you have to be real. Because also, when we say subjective, it's also very sensitive, else you become contented. So
You become complacent.
yes,
You don't want to
it's like,
improve.
okay, because I have this, I'm fine. The concept of success is the set goals you've put based on your ability
Based on
and
your
based on
ability. Very
how
true.
real you are. That's why I say there's no critique which is as painful as autocritique. You can tell me that I'm lazy, I'll tell you that's a lie. But when I sleep and I wake up, I will not lie to myself. It speaks to me. But I can defend it to the whole world. I can tell every other person that this is not who I am. But when in my lone moment, it downs on me. Which means that so the definition of success is the goals you set to the best of exploiting the abilities you have.
Yeah.
And when you're prepared, now there's a concept of grace. The grace that comes with when opportunity meets proper preparation. Because there are some persons who have not made it, not because they are not as talented as you, but they've not found themselves in the way of opportunity to seize it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you have people who find themselves making it at 30 because they had they had the skill and an opportunity passed by
And they grabbed it.
and they grabbed it. You might have that very skill, but you don't find yourself in the way of opportunity, which we Christians will call grace, So, but then again, it should be personal set goals. I, for instance, will face a challenge. Today, I'm more than 30, and honestly, sometimes I feel like, it got to me in the beginning, like sometimes I feel like you fail. It's like you're back, what is happening? But sometimes you need to actually take that retrospect and say, but what is my goal? What is my target? Where am I heading to? And what is the best of my capabilities? And when you put that, you can actually navigate, because honestly, the pressure will come. It's not, we live in a society where people don't ask your opinion to tell you what they think about you.
That's right.
Awesome. I like the fact that we are being able to, in fact, unpack just in the direction that is making the topic have more sense. Let's now talk about the fact that, well, the people are yet to understand the fact that we are different, especially when it has to do with our peers. Because we went to school, you went to primary school, you went to secondary school, you went to university, you graduated, and of course, you were leaving school and you were thinking that all of you would succeed, or at least you'd be able to put food on the table. And then it happens that 5 years along the line, the person you had anticipated to become the most successful person ends up not being the most successful person, and the person you thought wasn't going to be the successful person ends up being the successful person. This mixture seems to also fuel this success before 30 kind of thing, because at the end of the day, you thought that the land was going to be level, but then you realize that it is not so, or you think that even with some of the opportunities that you have been given, you feel that this is going to be the end goal of this opportunity, but it doesn't happen like that. For instance, when failure steps in, does the society understand the role that failing plays in our lives in general? Does society understand that Jude, you can go to university, you can leave, and then there are natural life occurrences that will happen? Probably your family loses all their wealth and all of that. Why is it that it's impossible for society to take into consideration all of this when trying to put people pressure?
Yeah, I think when you start talking about people, that is something I can definitely talk a lot about, because it resonates with me. It's something which clearly I went to school, especially forgetting primary school, from university where we started planning and just setting goals and stuff. I was with a group of friends, and we left school with different plans and different possibilities and different ideas of what we were going to do growing up. But the end goal was success. But now this is something which I am going to make you understand, especially around why there is no age for success. When we just left university, with all the excitement, everybody thought whatever they did was going to make them successful. One of my classmates, we were, okay, let me just take a clique of like 4 people. One of my classmates, he left, the dad had died, and then there was land and, there were cars and stuff. So he got into car business, taking care of the compound and making some money and all that. Not so long before that, he traveled abroad, and then he started doing well, got into, placement and all. And then we had the illusion that he had succeeded, maybe faster, because he could easily just discuss, in the tens of millions and talk about investments in the tens and 20s of millions. And then one of my friends got into NGO work. He went to Mundemba, worked there for some time, resigned, went to another, and before long he started working with international NGOs, and then he got married, and then he was doing pretty well. Then another was into placement as well, just doing placement, sending people abroad and all, and he was doing well as well. Then personally, I worked in the university, then I resigned and I go into entertainment, and then I had been building. But now this is something people don't understand about success, which I keep saying. You cannot directly relate success to wealth or financial gains. Reasons being that the different choices you make in life determines when your endpoint comes. For some people, it comes early. For other people, it comes later. But it doesn't mean that they are failing. For instance, somebody who leaves school and gets a good job and starts earning maybe $1 million every month is definitely going to build a house earlier than somebody who leaves and decides to maybe not chase or not even have
or
that
even
opportunity.
somebody that is studying something else.
Exactly.
For instance, let's say I was studying for 3 years and
Yes.
probably you are studying for 7 years to become. I
Exactly.
would clearly touch money before you,
Yeah.
and I may end up succeeding
Yeah,
earlier than
look
you.
at even people who are working, maybe you're already working with an NGO and earning,
Yeah.
and maybe working in a university,
Yeah.
you're earning $1 million, I'm earning 300,000. Definitely, we are succeeding because I am impacting people and I am growing gradually,
Mm-hmm.
but I am not making as much. But it doesn't mean I am not succeeding. You get it? Now, the problem comes in when at some point you sit and then there is some sort of comparison as to who is
Is it
succeeding better.
impossible to even compare? Is it
The
impossible to come? If I ride on buttress your point, then
Yes,
I get
yes,
to be-
exactly. Because my main issue is that the blueprint of early success is mostly on comparison. Because if you ask people personally, what are your goals and where are you heading at? They are definitely going to explain to you the kind of goals they have and how they are moving towards that. Sometimes it might not be the facts because sometimes probably you're thinking you're doing it right, but you're not doing it right. But starting over is not a problem.
Yeah.
And
Starting
if you're
over is not a problem.
Yes, and
but
if
we
you're
dread starting over. In fact, it's like that's what I said, that it is like if you don't learn and succeed on that for that thing
Yeah.
within that frame of 30 years, it means if you are doing it after 40, in fact, who started this 30 years thing? That's my problem. We need to look for that person. Now, who started it and say it been at 30 years? If you know what married, because me, Biggie, before I come to you, see, on my page, you people leave your business, your work, the things that pay you money. You come to my page and you come and ask me, make and marry, do quick and marry. Beauty will fade. Is it your beauty? I want to ask you today on Truth Hurts podcast. Now your beauty, now you give me work, you did give me job, you did give me clothes. Do you have on my head? Now you buy them because what are you thinking in your head? I said, if I make post today, if I just snap as a wedding clothes, so go post them, I feel bet. My last 100K inside my mobile money, what I work hard for, because that's all that thing to that. I feel bet that money. So like 3 people can ask me, say, you find it fine, so who's your master? You find it fine, so why you never marry? You find auntie do quick and marry. Wow, you are getting old. How old are you again? Hey,
And
Papa
this is the
God.
problem even
you
with
you
success,
need to
because, I
you
mean,
need
it
to
is the
stop this
success on-
rubbish.
that's what I was saying,
Because
right,
it is
Didi?
now.
It's the
Did
success
I
on
tell
wealth
you? Thank
or
you.
on marriage.
Thank you very
or
much.
on how you look.
I think
Is it? Did I tell you that my plan as a human being in the things that I will guarantee or classify as success in my life? Did I tell you that marriage before 30 is part of them? Did I even tell you about marriage? So because back to what you were saying, why is it that we are finding it hard to unlearn things that are hurting us, like this marriage before 30 thing?
I think the first thing I would say, whether I always say society is like society always be there. So you cannot stop society from saying what they want to say.
That's right.
That's what.
But who makes society? Is it not us human
It's just
beings?
like, I'll put for instance, let me use where somebody will paste the picture of the kid on social media,
Yeah.
and you have somebody who's going to come and say that picky war. You understand?
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not,
Yeah.
there's always a species of human beings who will always be. I mean, where everybody is saying yes, some people may always say no. So
Yeah.
that's society.
That disparity must
The
always
problem
be
should be you and where you're coming from. The truth is, it could have even happened that you wish to marry by 30. It could have happened. It happened. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
not.
dreaming is a free thing.
Sure.
It's okay to dream. It's okay to want to accomplish. And it's okay to do that autocritic, self-evaluation, like, how do I move towards my dreams? Whether it's marriage. Now, there are things about marriage. Marriage is a whole different thing. Wishing to get married is one thing. But the subject matter around marriage is even another day for another podcast. Because success is not marriage. I tell people that the accomplishment of someone, marriage is two people with different personalities coming together. It's not like a business where you say, I'll open a shop and I'll sell small, and safe. That's not marriage. So when it comes to marriage, I always tell people that anybody who feels he or she is a failure based on marriage, it means that you're really a failure. Because there are people who married by 25 and by 27, they are dead because of domestic violence. You know, you got married and because you wanted to show your friends that before you know it was the wrong thing. So I tell people that marriage is about meeting someone who makes you happy and that you feel like you can spend the rest of your life with. End of story.
And talking about even aside the marriage, right? Because sometimes even within the marriage, you marry somebody and you're planning to spend your life together, and within the marriage, because of the same peer pressure, maybe your partner even pushes you towards thinking that you're not succeeding because they're trying to compare how you guys are living to how other people are
That's
living.
exactly my point. That's why I say it has to be first of all you. Because society will always have what they want to say. You will not stop them. People will want, no matter how dressed you are, like you use the example, Faith, no matter if you decide to buy your hair for 1 million, somebody's going to tell you that, why didn't you buy the one for 5 million? And if you buy the one for 5 million, somebody's going to still tell you that, forget, there's the one for 12 million. So if you want to dwell on what people think about how you grow, you actually find yourself being influenced by what they say. The point is, you need to first of all be able to say, who am I? What is my potential? What is my value? Where am I headed? And how much can I push myself to the best of my limit? And when you are able to define that, you don't allow a lot of things. It's difficult because honestly, I was saying it gets to the best of us. But you need to be able to say, okay, to make it by 30 is a beautiful thing. But then, must I be... You guys used one of beautiful examples, studies. People who did social sciences, those who did science, so those who did technical education, their platforms and their journey to where they have accomplishments are not the same. A medical doctor will have to take 7 years in school. Someone who was doing accounting 3 years after a degree finds himself in the professional world. A medical doctor has to find himself 7 years before he wants to go to specialization. So will you say that because you who finished 3 years ago had a job, you think you're successful than somebody? It's about the path each and every one of us have picked.
Exactly. And Faith, just the same thing I was trying to say, right? Of course, I think it would be important you talk about that. When people talk about success, I still go far against, the material things. Reason being that, take for instance, scientists, who probably somebody will take maybe 30, 40 years of his life trying to discover something that is going to change generations and reshape perspectives and all. But the person does not have money like that. But at the end of the day, he discovers something that is going to make people become wealthy. And that person, to him, that is the greatest success he has ever had. Now, this is my question.
And he could probably even die before even making any
Now,
money.
my question
Will you call that person
in this new
unsuccessful?
generation, do you think that our young people now, not even the old people, because most old people would say otherwise, but do you think our young people now are misunderstanding what success is?
I totally think they are. The Gen Zs and the Gen Alphas. Because, like it was, the Gen Z, they're misunderstanding it based on the time in which they live, because social media has made it so easy for them to succeed in different things, whether they are succeeding legally or illegally, because that's another thing that we need to contextualize the success that we are selling. A lot of these young people are selling success, so making it look like they did clean things to succeed, whereas they did not. And I feel that also they are an uncontrolled generation. Gen Zs and Gen Zs and Gen Alphas, a lot of them, you cannot tell them what to do. You know, if you talk for that beginning, they feel, especially when they have started making money, what do you want to tell them? Exactly. Children at 18 that will have birthdays being organized for them by their 20-year-old boyfriends, where they are giving them 1 million. iPhone 17 don't come on, buying them a car. What do you want to tell them? You cannot tell them anything about success, because that is a time in which they were born. These people. I don't talk say some, I don't talk say, oh, Biggie, but you differ after. Man finish. Man finish. So I think that they were born into that time when success has been made to look like only material things, the flashy things on the internet, the bags, the diamond rings, the jewelries. It's not like they do not used to exist before, but social media and the digital age is selling it more.
This is where, when I say the truth is about accountability, you understand? The Gen Zs today can do what they do because somebody has created a platform for them to do what they can do.
Yeah.
We grew up in a time where if you brought home something that wasn't accounted for or that it
Do
didn't
not
make
take it.
sense, you have to explain how it came up. That's what I'm explaining.
Facts.
Today, you see a 17 or 18-year-old girl with an iPhone 16, 17, and the parent doesn't see the need to question how did it come
So
about.
you're saying that parents too have fueled
Yes,
this
this
mindset.
social media was created not by the Gen Zs.
Okay.
Social media was created by the very old people, the
Millennials,
millennials, those who had the idea to create it and the intention behind why they created it. You understand? It's a platform that people can come up. Because what I said, there's a social media lifestyle and real lifestyle has always been two opposite. But it has its intention. The idea is to sell something that can provoke consumption. It's
But I think
intentional.
that when the people that were creating social media did not think that it would become this bad.
The point is,
They did not think that it would be this wild. Big.
the point is,
They did not think that it would drive us to these things.
I agree with you that they may not understand the gravity to which it can, but the truth is that when they created the platform, for it to be lasting, it had to showcase something. Now, where I'm headed is that the Gen Zs today and the Gen Alphas is because the parenting, the things for us that will be questioned about today is about human rights has taken over, set by who give the rules, the very elder people who vote the laws. Something yesterday you could say, I'm
Don't
afraid
do
to do
this.
this because
Yeah.
my mother is going to ask me or
Yeah.
my father, I will not be able to be account for. Today, everybody says, no, you're a major, you can do whatever you want. So when it gets to that level, the pressure comes in because parents are even the one coaching their kids to find themselves in accomplishing. This means that because you want your child to accomplish at all gain, you see a young girl who's built a house at 25, 30, and you're not able to question that what exactly are you doing? On the other hand, you're using God's name to say, let God continue to bless you. Which means that if it's prostitution, continue, let God to bless more guys to come your way. If it's potty potter, or if you're an influencer, in quote, I put it in quote because I mean to be an influencer is not a bad
With
thing.
small,
It's
not
with
a-
small
genuinely-
fan, how do you call it? Fan page or fan what?
Yes.
Yeah, no.
Yes.
only-
Only fans.
So it's to explain to you that what I say, the Gen Zs are fitting into a picture that the millennials have opened. And so now it's overshowing on them, but we cannot look at the consequences without looking at the cost. Like, where did
So
this?
we are the cause.
Yeah, truth be told. Because when I look at a kid, for instance, when I see a child goes and is speaking foul language or says anything, it's not the child I'm blaming. I'm looking at where are you coming from? Because the source, if you've come from an environment where
anyway, right
cursing,
on.
if you come from an
Yes.
environment where cursing is okay, the consequences will be in the society. You will curse everywhere. And when someone wants to say you're a bad child, but no, it's a bad parent who is actually making you know that cursing is
Try-
okay.
but the back, I totally agree with you on that point. The point was not even disagreeing with me, but it was giving me
Yeah,
more perspective.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
A bigger perspective.
So just to conclude, now today, when we look at the social media influence, you see the kids like you're talking about an 18-year-old having a party sponsored by a 20-year-old. You will not find the question where we find ourselves is how did that even happen?
My brother. But then again, that doesn't also remove from the equation the fact that they are actually, in fact, times have changed. Because back then in our time when hey, I'm already sounding old, Papa God. Hey, Jesus Christ. Because which one is back in our time? Anyway, when social media was introduced and some of us came into the social media, the things that social media is able to do for people now was not able to do for us back then. The growth and the evolving and the things that have been incorporated into social media. When we started hearing about AI, we did not even know that it was something that we could do, the ChatGPTs and the rest. We didn't know that it will become a part of our life that we'll be able to use. And this, we can also take away the fact that these kids are smart. They are doing some of the things that some of us did not even think of doing. And it is just their time. And that brings me to say that amongst some of these children that may be doing questionable things, there are the ones that have done great things and have been able to excel. And I would say that part of success before 30 in some of these Gen Zs and Gen Alphas, I like it. I appreciate it for those that are really hardworking. Like, for instance, we were discussing before we went on air about a Cameroonian blogger, Future, who took to social media a couple of days ago to share with his fan base the fact that he has erected his very first building.
Yeah.
And I think it's located in Bomaka, Boya.
Yeah.
And people were celebrating him. And amongst the people that were celebrating were the ones that were questioning the rest. But of course, the crowd that was applauding was larger than the crowd that was questioning. But for somebody like that, we were able to see that, well, he has worked hard.
Yeah.
He has been able to benefit from using the internet and other ways or other means better than.
Yeah.
Can we hate on somebody like that?
There-
And
there-
also,
there
what do you
is-
make of the fact that a lot of people were questioning? Do you believe that he was purely leveraging on his advantage of being somebody that is very present on social media?
Okay, I am going to briefly touch on two things. There is something which you said. I definitely will counteract that.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned that the Gen Zs, because social media came, they are smarter and they are using it. They are not smarter. What they have done is that it came at their time and they have the freedom to use it. Biggie said something.
That's a good
They do not
freedom.
have the kind of control
The
we had.
freedom.
We had social
point.
media. Facebook came when I was still under control. It's not like Facebook just came.
You're not able to just post and do anyhow on the
Just feel free
internet.
and do stuff, because when we were growing up, there is that respect that you have for elderly people, even if they are not watching you. I definitely am not going to go online and then I am holding, boobs and dancing with a girl when I know, or just have the mind that my parent might see it. But now, when TikTok came, not even AI is just new. When TikTok came and then Facebook stories and Reels came, the Gen Zs were going online and dancing. It is the same us who were saying that I cannot dance online because we felt like that was not being smart enough.
I rejected TikTok.
Exactly. So
I
they
was saying that no
accepted
TikTok, no
early
TikTok.
enough.
Hey.
They accepted that early enough, and they used it, and they are making money, because most of them are even making money genuinely from product promotion and all. But going back now to the aspect of the recent issue on Future, it is still somebody who took advantage of an era of social media success that most people were not looking at that. Mind you, Future made his success not from blogging as blogging typically, because there is no blog that you see Future posting on. He made his money from Facebook, a platform. And that is something that people don't talk about. They always say, even motivational speakers, even storytellers, they tell you, for you to succeed, get something, master that thing and stay consistent on it. If you notice, Future is not very popular on Instagram, like Better Things, for instance. He's popular on Facebook. He's not popular on Twitter. He's not popular on TikTok, but he's popular on Facebook. Now, people saying that what he made, the money that he made online, he cannot be able to, build a house of 80 million. He didn't even say the house of 80 million, but I'll say it categorically clear that he can be able to make that money. I'll take a very simple scenario. Most of these guys, aside money they make from monetization, because most of them have mastered how to make money from monetization, not necessarily leveraging on our audience and our, because we don't even have monetization here, but they use other means through other countries to see how they can monetize and make money. Keeping that aside, there was a time when we were still into blogging where almost on a weekly, you will not have less than 10 people reaching out to you
For
to post
promotion.
one thing or two for them to pay you. At some point, a lot of people moved on and they went to other jobs because it wasn't paying so well. But then Facebook came and became really serious. And then, since it was so difficult to build an audience which was active, some of us, we had to just chill. But then people like Future stayed back and they became the focal point. Almost everybody reaching out to them. I have followed Future for a couple of years, and there is no day you will go on his platform and not see something new talking about business. Now, where these people make some money is maybe from foreign clients, because Cameroonians can hardly really pay the money. But imagine that it's easy for an artist or a business abroad to pay somebody 100 or 150,000 francs, probably monthly, to promote their
So
stuff.
gather 1
Exactly.
million and give you and say for
Yes.
these months,
Exactly.
do
Imagine
constant
he has
promo
10
for me.
clients that give him on average 200,000 francs monthly. On average, forgetting the 25,000, the 10,000 and stuff. That means he'll be making about that is 20 clients for 2 million, or for 1 million. That's
1 million.
about 2 million every month on average. If you are able to, like a young person, just not do so much and save, keeping aside the other things that you have as benefit, you can save like a 1.5 million or more every month. And if you save that consistently for a couple of years with discipline and hard work,
They say 5
with
years, for
exactly,
instance.
with reinvesting and making money from other sources, you can actually make 100 million and more. It's not magic. It's actually hard work. And I believe, and I can say it, whether people are saying in yes and all that, but personally, I've seen people who succeed, and I've also followed the story of Future. I followed him. I personally paid him for business. And I know that it's possible to actually make so much money just by posting on Facebook and having impact. What we do not see is the power of the social capital he has. He has so much social capital.
Influence. He has
Somebody who
it.
would really and genuinely just raise $1 million and a plot of
And
land
hand it over
and
to another
hand
person.
it to another person within a couple of days.
Without stealing a dime.
Exactly.
Remember what he
It-
did
it's
for
like-
he has done that for so many
So
people.
what makes you think people are also not going to bless him? Because whether they're dashing him or paying him or gifting him, it is still because of the
And
Facebook.
you mentioned I think you were before we even got on air, you were mentioning
Yeah.
the fact that a lot of in fact a lot of personalities in other African countries, for instance Nigeria, will always cite Nigeria because they are our brothers.
Yeah.
Use this and get popular, where you probably reach out to somebody on the streets who doesn't have so much. You
Yeah.
help them, and then you post that content online. People see it, they admire it, and then they start giving you money to help that person, and sometimes even money just for you. People will gift you and say,
Exactly.
"Wow, this thing you
Exactly.
did, I want to invest in your life."
Yes, that's the
because
irony of
there
it.
are also some, because there are people that are destiny helpers.
Yeah.
I've witnessed someone call me. Somebody has called me. I cannot say the amount of the money they gave me, and that's happened to me a couple of times. Someone has just called me based on something they saw me do online, or based on something that they heard that I did not even really publicize like that, but probably you just went online and say, "Oh, because of this good work you've done, or because of this thing that you did to me, I am sending you this and this amount of money." And I think that anyway, we're going to be taking a break
Yeah,
to come
but
back. You wanted to add something.
I wanted to say about Future. You know, I don't know much about him, but I believe it's possible that he made it.
Yeah.
But if there's one thing I would say, if Future is watching us, the only thing I would tell him is that for people not to be misled by your accomplishment, come out and talk to the people how you were able to establish that discipline that pushed you to be able to accomplish this. Because when I fell on the post, honestly, it was evasive. Yes, I live in one room, okay, but someone who stumbles on you and doesn't know you, I think if you want to actually arrange that pressure, you should be like, okay, this is how I was able to do it. These are the things I had to forego. This is how I was able to go, so that people can actually learn from that experience and see the roadmap. Theirs may not be the same, but they can understand that endurance, that process that goes with.
Sure.
So I believe everything, but like I said again, in society, if you do anything and somebody doesn't question you, question yourself.
In fact,
Yeah, and you know the
Yeah.
power of master classes. And I also just feel like, people might be like, see, let's be honest, right? We always say when you want to succeed, you need to probably just do it in the background and people see the results, right? Now, I don't know why people feel because Future is a blogger or he's on Facebook, he has to explain his process to everybody. That is something which I feel like is being unfair
I
to
think
him.
that maybe
Because
it is
they always-
because
he
I think
posted
based
it.
on what yes
No,
because I think that
do you know that he posted
because
when he started?
people are concluding
About
that
3
probably
years ago.
see people are also concluding that probably it is not just from blogging that he made the money.
Yeah.
So people think that maybe there are other things, not that he did anything illegal. People are thinking that there are other things that he did that added to that blogging for him to be able to raise the amount of money. So if you're already putting your information online,
Yeah.
I think that if you want to give us details, just give us all the details.
If he wants to do it for
Though
bragging
he still
rights,
does not owe us.
no. If he wants to do it for bragging
does not
rights,
owe
let's
people.
accord it to him. If he's showcasing his house for bragging rights, let's accord it to
No,
him.
he wasn't even showcasing it for bragging rights.
It's because
just
he started
recently-
from the Genesis.
No. What he did was, normally he was trying to promote that. The reason he posted that was because he wanted to get tenants.
Oh,
and
yeah.
clients
Now he
to his
has
home.
more than enough.
Yes.
That's awesome.
No. He posted that and said people who are looking for houses
You should come
And just recently, he also made a post thanking people for sharing it because Stanley Enos and the other people shared
Yeah.
it. And that made him to have more people.
And
even
he also
reaching
posted
out
the workers
than the
on.
rooms. Yeah.
Anyway, this now also we can now talk
Yeah.
about Future was just an example.
Yeah.
And an example of a youth that is succeeding before 30.
and
Don't
it's
come
causing
and
chaos.
that's what I have to say. I have to come back.
It's causing that
a lot of chaos. A lot of chaos because people are forgetting their reality.
No,
They are forgetting the things that they are doing and thinking that the fact that somebody has succeeded before 30 automatically makes them a failure. Which is wrong.
Like you said, I'll say again, success before 30, the pressure had existed long before social media. Right?
Yeah.
the concept of wanting to make it before. It's a long thing. Social media is just an era that popped into the whole thing. And because social media now is there, because now we speak with our reality, maybe 10,000 years from now, the reality is going to be different.
Sure.
But trust you me, succeeding at 30 is still going to be the same topic for discussion in the next 10,000 years because it's going to be a reality. What I mean is, to succeed before 30 or at 30 is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
But what is the value of your success should be what people should be more concerned. I feel that's where I am.
Good. I think I like that point you've made. So we're going to buttress on it. So let's consider this a part one to our topic because there is so much to unpack about this. We can talk a whole day about this particular topic. So let's go, let's go on a jingle break. And of course, when we come back, it's going to be part two of our conversation. Why so much pressure to succeed before 30?
That's right.
This is Truth Hurts Podcast, and today we are unpacking the pressure of being successful before the age of 30. And the conversation has been pretty intense. We continue in that same line because there is so much to say. This is one of the topics that you cannot really exhaust because there is always going to be something, a thing or two to add. So before we even proceed into other matters of the conversation, let us define what success is, right, Biggie? Can you define give us a dictionary definition of success?
The first one, definition of success. The accomplishment of an aim or purpose. Now, definition of being successful. Being successful means achieving a desired outcome, which is highly subjective and varies based on personal values, goals, and context.
Wow, Papa. So why would you worry about that? Nothing is I don't talk things. Anything that's subjective would you worry about that scene.
Please stay with me. Wait.
Is there any way around there where they put money or house or woman and picking them?
So if success or being successful is personal, it's subjective, it is based on your own goals and aspirations for yourself, why so much pressure? Why would I want kiwi for internet every day?
Let me say this. The thing is, if you think you're successful based on the target you've laid for yourself, and let's say that target didn't include material things, cars, land, house, then you should be watchful of how you communicate to those who have it. What do I mean?
Good point.
Don't say I'm fine and then give the energy, because it's not necessarily always in words. Give the energy as if what the person has accomplished is like they say material things, because that's also a definition of someone who is a freshman will say agree.
Yes, facts.
If you are contented, like that's why I said in the beginning, I said people should not confuse being contented and being successful. Being contented is you're not where you want to be, but where you are, you're able to live okay.
Or you're happy with what
you're happy. Yes, you're okay. You're comfort. Which is still so comfortable, but you're okay. You can wake up, you can breathe, you can realize one or two things. But that is not where your target is. Success is that this is what I wanted to achieve.
And I've accomplished it.
So people should not mix, because some people are contented and want to act successful.
Oh, you preach your man.
Because for instance, if I say I don't have a car, and then somebody has a car and I have to say, no, na sports I do. Na jealousy talk. Because if you had a car, you will love it. But if you feel that your ideology and philosophy doesn't surround car,
it's okay.
Someone having it or not, you actually act indifferent. So what I mean is, in the concept of being successful, I'll still say again, making it at 30 is not the crime. It's in fact, if you can make it at 20, it's beautiful. But then again, to make money is one thing. To keep money is another thing. We have guys today who've declared bankruptcy, but yesteryears There were billionaires and millionaires. So that's why I say the blueprint again of success, it should be a process. It's a continuous process.
Yeah, success is actually a continuous process. And I think that, I always detach success from money. because
Why? You don't like money. You know high. What do you mean by detaching?
like
Because material things not important. Wait.
Can you-
How you go wear clothes? See as you find your clothes fit there. Your eyes like all thing okay. You wear better clothes. Now
But I
say
do-
they see your shoe.
See.
Then how can you detach success from
But I
material
do-
things?
There's a difference
Girls
between
will come
having
for you.
what I need.
In the comment section, girls will come for you.
They will come for him and
Wait,
support
I
them.
want to explain something.
Right on.
There's a difference between having what you need and attaching your success to just material things.
Okay,
or wealth.
just it's okay. I get it. I get the
Now,
point.
I was going to get to something. Even people who have so much money and wealth are still constantly chasing their success. I am going to quote one example. I was talking about, we spoke about some other things, but I'm going to go to music, but not quoting somebody around here. I just listened to Mr. Easy on TED Talks. Forget everything that has happened. He spent 1 point something billion on his wedding. His wife is a billionaire. They even forgot that he was a billionaire just because he wasn't talking about it. But I listened to him on TED Talks, and that made me understand what success is to him. Mr. Easy said, to him, success is more about finding home. That he's been moving and working and doing things from Ghana to Lagos, from Lagos to London, and maybe from London to space. Not looking for money, but finding home. And that is something which is crazy because that's somebody who is a billionaire in dollars. But he still thinks he has not succeeded. Why should we probably just sit and we are talking about millions in francs CFA and thinking success ends around there? We need to be very careful the kind of things we look at. Because personally, right, if I was looking at if my success was directly related to money and wealth, I would not have taken the route I took. The route I took is a route of impact and wealth generation for future. And in my own projection, it takes from when I started, maybe about when I was 25, it would take about 50 years for me to arrive there. Okay, add 50 years to my 25, that's about 75, right? Why should I be bothered at maybe 30 that I am not successful because some other person has built a house, bought a car, married a wife, and is having kids? Who even said everybody is supposed to have children? That's another thing. In the West, there are people who decide that I am not going to have a child. I am going to work, give my money to charity, adopt children, and grow society. Because I believe that there is something which I need to do, and children might be a distraction to my success route. These are some of the things that people are not following. If we can understand these things and then say success is subjective and the routes to success are different, it's going to solve a lot.
I think we're narrowing down to a lot of sense and also not forcing it down your throat. That is why this is available on YouTube. That is why we are on TikTok. That is why we are on Facebook. We are on Instagram. Drop your comments in the comment section. Share with us your thoughts about success and the pressure. I asked this question before. I'm asking, who first of all instituted these 30 years? Now, we'll be saying that the age gap for being at 30. I am beginning to feel that it has a lot to do with women because the morphology of a woman, the body of a woman begins to, her ability to bear children, because that's pretty much the main thing. Her ability to bear children begins to decrease as she approaches 30, in fact after 30. So are we saying that though there are of course women that have given birth to their children after 30, in 40s, some even in 50s, why are we pressuring or forcing, because I'm speaking from the perspective of a woman, why are we making every woman feel like if you have not had a child before 30 or you are having a child at 30 and marrying at 30, it means you're doing life late? Why are we making it look like it is because you have done something wrong as a woman? That is why marriage did not come to you before 30. It is because you were probably reckless in your 20s. You were running after men in your 20s. You were too proud in your 20s. Why are we limiting women's success to the age or to the age before 30 or the ages before 30? Why is it that a woman cannot choose to not be married? Yes, it is true that God's plan for a man and a woman is to come together. But even in that God's plan, there were people that were not married. Even in that God's plan, there are, for instance, reverend fathers are not married. There are women that would have loved to settle down and have so many children. But God, in his plan for them, made sure that they were unable to conceive and said, okay, you are going to have to adopt children. Will you now say, because you don't have a child of your own, you are an unsuccessful woman? Can you imagine that even in this age and time, even after a woman has accomplished other things that by her make her successful, for instance, a good job, especially in this African part where we are still struggling with a certain mentality. Before now, women did not have the voice that they have. Can you believe that in this time and age, even after a woman has struggled to have her voice heard, she probably now has a company of her own where she's the CEO, the MD. She's able to probably take care of her father and her mother. That was probably her aim for successful. She can build them a house or something. Can you imagine that after all of that is done and that woman is successful, somebody will now come and ask her, so who is your husband? How many children do you have? And by that, they start telling you that, oh, madam, no matter how much of that material accomplishment and other personal things that you have had that probably don't have to do with material things, you are still unsuccessful as a woman. Why? Because for you men it's different. The woman's own makes me so sad. It makes me, as a young woman, I'm very proud of myself. I want to do so much, not just for me. There's so much I want to do, is mostly for people, because I believe that you're living a life. You're living a true life when your life goes beyond you. It is not me. I. That is one of my perspectives of life. So imagine that a young woman like me trying the best that she can with the limitations that I have, because like it or not, I didn't come from a wealthy home for certain things to be facilitated. For me, I wasn't born in a certain time and age where certain things were different. So I've been able to break free from certain limitations, and I'm thriving and I'm trying, but I am still being held back. People are still saying, so they are beauty. So now which man picking you look at them? Yeah. The man picking where they look at you, the man picking. So me, I cannot work hard. I cannot put food. I remember I went to the gym. Let me share this story. I went to the gym to register with my cash. I went to pay for 3 months. Hundreds of thousands. One of the best, gymnasiums we have in this country, in this Douala, sorry. I walked in, paid my money, biggie. Can you imagine? And I got my receipt, and I was working out, and then one of the coaches, how dare you for such unprofessional behavior, but it's fine. He walks up to me, I'm working out, and he's like, okay, this is his, presents his other services to me and so on, so on, so on. And he's like, oh, you're working out here? I'm like, yeah, okay, gives me. And then he goes on to say, I don't even know what part of the conversation, to say, donc c'est toi qui as payé pour la salle, tu as payé pour ton entraînement. C'est toi-même qui as payé.
But I mean,
are you mad? And I tell him that I paid. Yeah. I insisted like 3 times. C'est vraiment wow. I asked him, c'est mon argent, j'ai travaillé, j'ai décidé de venir en salle pour how do I call it? I was trying to tell him that for my mental health and also for my physique. But the fact that you had to ask me like 3 times to be sure. Hey,
you know, Vicky, the fact that she mentioned this, I always like you to weigh in on this, because I mean, when she's talking about things that have to do with women and accomplishment and and all that, I believe it's something which, of course, you have a lot more experience on that, and you can be able to really weigh in on that.
See the way you run away from woman matter. Give me hand.
I think unfortunately, typical African culture, we didn't grow. A typical African culture is not based on emotional love.
Yeah.
Typical African way of that's where we grew up. A lot will say you hardly see when. I think we had an episode we're talking about parenting relationship with kids and all that.
I don't tell them I love you.
And we're saying how parents react. It was today. You can tell your kids, "I love you, what up, I miss you," but before. When a woman even saw a call from the husband who said, "I love you," she knew that the guy had done something fishy. You know,
what did you do?
Yeah, like this one day, all of a sudden you're telling me that I love you. It's like, what did you do? You know, so in their way of pushing their kids to accomplishment, they transformed it to pressure, and they didn't understand the impact or the negative impact it could have on the child. Sometimes their intention is not for a child to really be failure. It's for a child to push themselves out of the environment and accomplish.
Yeah.
But then, how they do it sometimes They don't understand how it plays on the child's psychology. Coming to ladies, as you were saying, where they feel like they are conscious of the fact that the woman at the age, as she grows older, freshman will say, "Fini par fani." And then she loses her beauty. Biologically, it's a little bit more complex and in procreation. And in their mind, they feel like, okay, no, they want you to settle down, have those accomplishments. But the way they channel that energy and the words doesn't always come to the person as that. But it's all in goodwill.
It's not in goodwill, oh.
No,
It's not in goodwill, Biggie. It's in bad will.
No, it's how the action.
So if I don't marry now,
No,
I'm a bad daughter.
no. What I'm saying, the intention is goodwill. Is a materialization of the action that translates now and actually pushes someone to rather be bitter, because every parent who has a child who wishes for a girl child to get married. I'm a parent today. My wish will always be for my kids to settle down. But then again, it's as the experience goes that you can now say, but listen, it may not always be the case. Our parents at times did not want to imagine that it will not be the case. That is the difference between the reality now. Is that in their mind now, not being the case felt like it was the devil at work.
Yes, it's taboo. Until they will call a meeting on your head and say, "Do you know I'm married?"
I'm tempted to ask the question, which is
Not be tempted, Papa.
Yes.
Ask the question.
I want to still find out, because you see, you mentioned something that our parents would push us to marry as part of the accomplishment that they have.
Yes.
Now, this is my question. In this our generation now, I have seen cases where parents are using their children as a chip for their success. Probably what they could not accomplish themselves.
You are forcing it
They
in your
want
child,
to
forcing your child to
not
do it.
just even children, but even money. Parents are probably pushing their children to not just get married, but get married to rich people. Because we talk about having children, but we forget to know that this thing about success has little or nothing to even do with children.
It's sad.
Children is for people who are accomplishing. But what
money.
about these parents
Money.
who are using their children
Money.
now
No.
to push them to
Money.
to succeed for the family?
It's sad.
And then you see a child becomes a sacrificial lamb in the family.
That's what I'm saying.
You become the one that the family will carry all their
Remember
drum
when-
and put on.
when we
I
start-
sent you to school. I sent you to this. You must.
When we started this conversation in part one, I remember I said, when we were talking about the Gen Zs and their actions, and I said, I don't blame the Gen Zs, I blame the parents. Because I said, we grew up in a time where everything was questionable. It's deadly, I weigh the words, it's deadly when a child is a tool in the hands of a parent. Because the blackmail is first hand.
Hi, too much.
The blackmail is first hand. It's different from when somebody does not know you blackmail. This one is blackmail where you are angry, but you go back.
Yeah.
Generally the concept of blackmail is that you run away from your blackmailer, but this is where the person will blackmail you and still call you, and if you're not picking you, it's another problem on problem. So that's the danger. I'll still say again, unfortunately, it's a sad event. That's why I say the concept of pushing kids, because honestly, the way of life is supposed to be parents taking care of their kids to grow up to maturity and be someone, and then let the kids in turn facilitate their OH.
Yeah.
Today, you realize it's like parents want their kids to become what they were not able to become. I mean that if I wasn't able to be a successful lawyer, I want my child to be a lawyer at all costs. If I wasn't able to be a successful doctor, I want my child to be. We don't allow the children to explore their dreams and become what they wish for themselves. And a lot of parents have defined what they think is success for their kids. And that's why kids grow up. That's why I say the problem of success is really a mentality issue. In as much as it plays, when I say where you and I differ was not the fact that I agree with you that material things doesn't I would say material thing is one in many factors, depending on what anybody has fitted as his or her objectives.
Exactly.
But for the ladies, because the truth is that it's a chain reaction. Parents have mounted pressure on their ladies, on their daughters to be married, to find rich men to make it, and ladies now have in turn pressured their potential suitors to find themselves in
and then that is even takes us now to why
so it is a chain reaction.
We were actually talking.
Exactly.
It's very nice.
So you see a guy who is dating a girl, they started all young and you're going all of a sudden, then at a certain moment, from family pressure, it's like your parents are poor, nobody's making it. And then you look at the guy, they start saying that, but this guy, what can this guy bring to you? A love that was so beautiful, genuine, and pure goes
Nice.
sour
Yeah,
because all of a
Yeah,
sudden.
so
I think
Jude,
we
you
need
wanted to
really
add
dive
something
into
to that.
this, right? I think this also now explains because we needed to decipher what real success is. Because sometimes we're just talking success and success and success and success, but there is the impression of success and real success, especially with societal implication or probably societal
Impositions.
determinants and imposition. Now, what you said leads me, I'll ask the question, right? You're talking about the fact that because the mother pushes the daughter pushes.
Some the father seven.
No, yes, mother or father pushes the daughter or the son.
Yeah.
The son pushes somebody. And then because you have now the pressure to want to succeed, and they're doing that basing their own reasoning on probably what they have seen in other people. That's why you see now a lot of our young people, because they want to succeed early, they get into things like yes, as we call it here,
Yeah.
or get into nyongo,
Yes.
or a lot
Yes.
of other things just to make money. But that is not even the problem. The problem is not the fact that they portray it and make people feel like that is
That's the right, that's the success.
Exactly.
And then mind you, that is not even success that they want, because they are now doing it not even for themselves, they're doing it for those people that are pressuring them.
Okay.
Because those people have given them a certain mentality.
What will people say?
Yes, thank you very much. What will people say? You're now not even living your dream, because if you had let that young man or young woman without pressure, they'll probably arrive at a certain definition of their own success,
Yeah.
and they'll chase it in all honesty with the right values, the right morals, everything. But because we have, in fact, it's so traumatic, it's such a toxic society, a chain reaction of a lot of trauma, and you are passing it down, and a child starts having values that if they were let and they were raised right, they will not be having in the first place.
And
For
because I
instance,
like to ride on, especially as you are now talking about
Yes.
why it's a trap.
Yes.
Because what you're saying now,
that is a trap.
Yes.
That is really why it is a trap, because at the end of the day, you are breeding a lot of low self-esteem and the wrong values on people.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, the frustration will only lead them to transferring it to another person, because mind you, a lot of us were not raised to know how to handle challenges and failures, because that's another thing that we have skipped. We were made to feel like if you don't succeed to a certain degree, it means that you have lost
It's
it
a
in
problem.
life. You are useless. People will not be proud of you. But then who are those people?
That's
Who are those
the
people
question.
that you are trying to please?
Look, Benny Pekin. No, I ain't that
Thank
for
you.
one country, no.
Who are those people you are trying to please? Because the roof covers up the head of so many houses.
I have had pressure around marriage. I am going to say this, yeah. It's a personal thing which I will say. Even though I said this thing
So
because
they want me married
I am
sharp, sharp.
mentally upright. That's
Okay.
why I will say
Okay.
this thing. In my family, right, I have 5 sisters and 1 brother.
Ooh,
And
that
in my
must be a
family,
lot.
All my sisters are married. They all have at least 2 kids. My brother is married. He has 3 kids.
Oh no,
And in my
Brother
whole
Jude.
family, I'm the only person who is not married and doesn't have a kid. And within my entourage, again, the ones that are married, they have kids. The ones that are not married, they have kids. So I am almost the only person. Now I have this one friend who constantly keeps calling me and telling me, "But even if you know one settle, at least get picking." Now I don't understand how getting picking has become a determinant of success, because you were saying certain things. And I am tempted to want to be like, people don't need to determine how your success should be. The fact that maybe you sacrifice, because these things say, let me be honest with you, there was a time I had to take one of the greatest sacrifices. Unfortunately, it wasn't sacrificing to make money, but sacrificing to build something. I stayed for like 5 years without having a serious relationship.
Okay.
Not because I could not, because of course I am not. I'm a nice looking person, and you know, it will be easy
Fine
to just
man.
get a girl.
No
But you
pimples.
need to send that away because you want to focus your mind and do something which you know that a lady will not understand. Because you are going to not do certain things that other people are doing. You're not
Sure.
going to be out there like that. You're not going to. So that's to sacrifice because you want to achieve something. And
Facts.
that to me is success. When eventually you have that, you sit in the place and you're talking about it. But my issue is the trap that people get into. When they keep pushing you and making you feel like this is it. In the quest for chasing the success that is not defined by you, but by your parent, by your spouse, by your friend, by your society, by social media, you get stuck.
You're in a loop.
And there
In
is
that
no way
trap,
out. So
there's
how
no
do
way
we
out.
now leave that part? Because we need to also talk about how people.
No, we are already
No,
getting.
we're
We are already
talking.
getting into
I'll
that
be
part
still
of
in
the,
that
of the-
line
of
and
the
the-
conversation.
I'll even go with the insensitivity of people around how they define your success. Let's even take the route of the same married life and childbearing.
Yeah.
You sit and you see a couple who married for 5 years, 6 years, and they don't have kids.
Sure.
And the first thing that comes to your mind is to say, "Una wait na wait. You marry na stick." You don't know if how many miscarriages. You don't know how many miscarriages they may have had.
I'm
Thank
telling you.
You don't know what battle they are battling in the relationship.
Yeah.
You don't know what challenges they are facing that has pushed them there, and people are dealing in their pain, and you are out there judging them as unsuccessful in the domain. Because now that we've defined success, we understand that it takes different angles. The concept, even financial. You don't know how people have gone to sometimes you define somebody as late because unfortunately people want to define your success based on the end results, not on the process. That's one thing. And it's because a few of those people who have accomplished it mystify the process. Because I'll say, because you've not made it, that's why I say only those who have made it have the right to be motivational speakers.
Yeah.
But you can be a motivational speaker in the process. You may still be a motivational speaker when you've not accomplished because you can make others understand that
You can still
you have because
motivating
you make
people
people
with
to
your
understand the
process.
challenges
True.
that are
You're
on the
showing
way.
them.
Yes.
You're being real.
So it's to say a lot of persons, you see someone maybe has not had a job, you don't know their interviews, he's gone. You're talking about young lady, you're exposed to know these things where today they will say, why are you not in this international media? But nobody knows how many interviews you've gone.
don't know how many
and
things
instead
I
and,
failed
inst- and,
at.
and instead of people focusing on your talent, they focus on your body. But you don't need to come and stand out and sing that song to say, I'm not here but in their mind they say no, because you're here, it means that you're not ambitious. People don't
How
know
many? Biggie, before you continue, I cannot count the number of times I've been compared to other people.
Exactly.
And making it look like what they are doing is
Yeah.
exactly what I'm supposed
So-
to be doing.
so-
You don't even know what I want for
So
myself.
I feel again like now my only advice in situations like this I always give even to our audience is that society will never change. Like I said, even in the year 55,000, people always be compared. People always be pressured. To the young ones, define yourself and stand by the values you have. Because trust you me, the moment you allow yourself to be influenced, you lose grip of whatever reality, be it in marriage. Because even in marriage, you have 5 guys who've taken second, third wives because somebody pressures, say, a woman not feel born, you need another wife.
Yeah.
Before you realize he took another wife, that realized that he was even the one who had problems. And the second wife came and was having children outside and giving him. And he was thinking that it was his children. Meanwhile, it was another person's children. When you realize he was the one who had the problem. So you realize because you had defined him a successful man by kids, he ended up being that he found himself raising kids that were not his.
And I think, as we
So,
are almost getting to
wrapping the-
conclusion, I think we should be looking at those things, especially the
So how-
determinants of personal
Yes,
success.
what
Yeah.
are the determinants of
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that to begin with, I think that just like we have seen, one of the determinants of success, since we have all agreed that it is more subjective than it is general, is being able to have a life that has order. A lot of us neglect our values, that we neglect our morals. If your life has order, that is to say, as a young man, as a young woman, as an old man, as an old woman, if you know that this is your role in responsibility and your role in society, you should be able to play that role to the fullest. As a family head, as a business head, as just a person that is in society, whether you're in the middle, you have a boss and people under you, what is expected of you? What, as a successful person, you should be able to handle those responsibilities judiciously. Play your part. For me, if you're able to do that on a daily basis, then you're a successful person. Yes, people should not turn around and have to carry your load or your burden because you're negligent, because you're slow, because you're lazy. A successful person is one who knows their responsibilities, the role they play in whatever context in which they find themselves. So if you're probably the head of a family and you're supposed to do this by your children and do this by your wife and do this by your company or do this for yourself, being able to play that role for me goes a long way to show that you are successful.
Accountability.
Oh yes, that's
So accountability. Accountability. And I always tell people success is a process and it's about progress. I always tell people that in my line of business, the things I do is more of like I'm a peoplepreneur. My business is always about center around people, training and all that. So I always tell people that compare yourself from where you were years ago to where you are today to know if you're doing better, not comparing yourself to another person. Look at yourself years ago. What was I able to accomplish? Today, what am I able to accomplish? Now, what do I aim to accomplish? Let the definition of your growth process, your success, be defined from where you're coming from, where you are, and where you're headed, not what is parallel to you.
Yeah.
It should be you. Let other people now want to see you and be happy for you, but don't be influenced by what people want to define by you don't make them or you never make them. It should be a you, because your goals will always be your goals.
Yeah. And I think just like the Android farmer said, people are not going to know farming. Farming is some very sophisticated thing until the farmer comes out and showcases how nicely he enjoy being a farmer. And that is being successful. You might not be making so much money, but you're making food for people who have money to feed on.
Yeah.
What am I trying to say by this? I mean that when you live a purpose-driven and impactful life, definitely a lot of other things are going to follow you. Like they say, if you want to be successful, do not chase success. Create impact.
Success will
Live
chase
a
you.
purpose-driven life, and success is going to follow you. I believe this is what most people are failing to know. And do not compare yourself to anybody, not even your family member, not even your country. Do not think because you're in Cameroon, you cannot succeed. You only need to be in America to succeed. Do not think because you're in America, you are supposed to automatically succeed. I know people who have been in America for 10, 20 years and they're unable to buy a single plot. Not like they have money and they have not bought. They have been unable to. And I know people who are in Cameroon that have built houses. So I believe that success is personal and it has to be purpose driven.
Awesome. Thank you so much, gentlemen. So, ladies and gentlemen, here is the truth. Success is not a race against the clock. Yes, your success is not defined before 30. Your success should be defined by your purpose. Your success should be defined by the things you're doing to obtain peace. Your success is the impact that you create in the world. Your success is how you feel about yourself and the things you do every day you retire home. So it doesn't matter if you're 25, it doesn't matter if you're 30, it doesn't matter if you are 40. Ask yourself, is my story still being written? Yes, of course. There is room for improvement. You can still get better. Show up every day doing the things you do. Reinvent yourself, improve, and of course, greater things definitely are with you. Until next edition, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, to follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. It is Hugs and Kisses from these two amazing, super intelligent gentlemen and my humble self. Mwah.